Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're going to be looking at all the green cards in Dominaria.
And we're gonna evaluate them for limited, like draft or sealed. Like the upcoming pre-release, where we get 6 boosts of Dominaria and 2 promos.
Yeah, and by now you should know our 3-tiered system for evaluating these cards. Tier 1, these are bombs, are unconditional removal. Tier 2, these are auto-includes if we're in that color. Otherwise, a couple of these push us in that color. And the Tier 3, those are the ones going to be used as filler cards. All the rest of the cards are bad or too situational. We're going to put those aside. So now let's get started with all the common cards. The first of our green cards is Llanowar Elves. For a single green, it's a 1/1 Elf Druid, which can tap to give us a green mana. Now, this card is insanely good. It's not a good attacker, it's not a great blocker, but what does it do? It mana ramps you for a single green, and that is crazy. And of course, if they don't have any blockers, you can still use it to attack, so it does all kinds of work.
And jump blocking.
And jump blocking.
I mean, yeah, later game, it's not as great when you top deck this, but still, early game, it will help you so much. And the next one is Arbor Ornament. It's 1 green, instant, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That creature gets reach until end of turn. For instant speed, I really like it. Tier 3.
Yeah.
Good combat trick.
Yeah. Then we have Adventurous Impulse for a single green. It's a sorcery. We're going to look at the top 3 cards of our library, then reveal a creature or land card from among them, and put one of those into our hand, and then we're going to put the rest of the bottom of our library in any order. So for a single green, it's going to allow us to dig. Dig for either a land which we need, or dig for that nice creature that we're going to be able to cast on curve. So I don't see a scenario where we don't want to be investing this green, so I would say tier 2 always included if you're in green.
Yeah, exactly. It's just searching for your creatures really nice.
Also, yeah.
Corrosive Ooze, 1 and a green. It's a 2/2 ooze. Whenever Corrosive Ooze blocks or becomes blocked by an equipped creature, destroy all equipment attached to that creature at the end of combat. It's not really that relevant, but it's a 2/2 for 2, and I'm okay with that. Tier 3.
Yeah, just 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Good. Gift of Growth for 1 and a green. So for 2 mana, we're going to untap target creature and give it +2/+2 till the end of turn. So that's already great. That's a great combat trick. However, we can also kick it for an additional 2. So in that case, if we're paying 4 mana, we're going to actually untap the creature and give it +4/+4 till the end of turn. Great early, great late, awesome combat trick. Tier 3.
Yeah. +4/+4 is so much.
Yeah.
Llanowar Scout, 1 and a green. It's a 1/3 elf scout, and you can tap it to put a land card from your hand to the battlefield. You won't have that many land cards to put on the battlefield, but it's a 1/3 for 2, so that's nice. And upside, which is actually really good upside.
Yeah, solid body with potential decent upside.
And the land doesn't come in tapped,
which is also very nice. True. Then we have Ancient Animus for 1 and a green. It's an instant. We're going to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then if it's legendary, it's going to fight another target creature another opponent controls. Once again, we cannot guarantee that we've got these legendaries. We can't guarantee that the legendary stays on the battlefield. We can't guarantee that we have this card when we do have the legendary creature. So just giving a +1/+1 counter for 2 mana on a creature in speed, I don't think is enough. So we're going to put that one aside.
Yeah. What I do like though, like the other combat trick, it's +1/+1 counters, so they just stay on the creature even after combat, and that's really nice.
Ah, that's okay.
I really like it. Pierce the Sky, 1 and a green, instant. Pierce the Sky deals 7 damage to target creature with flying. Flying, yeah, it's really important to have something against flying, but that's sideboard, but put it aside.
Yeah, it's if they don't have any flyers, this thing's just really doing nothing. Better just have something that fights or deals damage or outright destroys. Saproling Migration for 1 and a green. It's a sorcery, and we're going to create 2 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens. Okay, that's okay. 2 power for 2 mana, so that's okay. However, additionally, we can pay an additional kicker of 4 mana. So for 6 mana, we're going to create 4 tokens instead. It's okay. It kind of takes your 2 drop slot, giving us 2 1/1s, which is okay. Nothing to be too excited about, but it's a fine filler.
Yeah. I'm surprised that it's only 4 for 6, because for green I assumed it'd actually be a bit more.
For 6 mana kicker. For 6 mana total for 4 guys.
Yeah. Broken Bond, 1 and a green, sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Just put it aside. Enchantment, artifacts, no.
You don't want to be main boarding the destruction against those things.
Exactly.
Yavimaya suffered for 2 and a green. So for 3 mana, we get a 2/2 fungus. So the body's a little bit behind on curve. But when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 sapperling creature token. Bam! All of a sudden, we're back on curve again. So we got 3 power and toughness split over 2 creatures for 3 mana. I'm happy with that. It's decent filler right there.
Yeah, exactly. Growth from the Ashes. 2 and a green, sorcery. We kick a 2. Search your library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield and then shuffle your library. But if the spell was kicked, instead, search your library for 2 basic land cards and put them on the battlefield and then shuffle the library. For 3 mana, get 1 land. For 5 mana, get 2 of them. Is that really what we want? The Llanowar Elf is only 1 mana and will ramp you. And this one for 3 or 5, it's really way too late.
Yeah, it is cool to see that the land does not enter tapped.
Yeah,
so that is kind of nice. If I might say a little caveat. Normally, if you're just playing those 2 colors and you're going for it, I wouldn't include it, put it aside. If you're going 3 colors, then it might be something that you might want to be looking at. And or if you really want to have a deck that has a lot of high costed stuff, then all of a sudden these are the ramp cards that do warrant inclusion. But if we're just going for a very standard, basic, run of the mill, sealed or draft deck, then I wouldn't do that.
Exactly. I would like to play it.
You would like to play it because you play 6, 7 colors, yes.
So I might need it.
Yeah. Croson Druid is next for 2 and a green. So for 3 mana, it's a 2/3. That's a fine body right there. But we can also pay an additional 4 and a green, so an additional 5 mana. And then if it enters the battlefield, we're going to get 10 life. So the body's already fine. That's a filler card. Late game, if you're mana flooded, it does do something actually because it comes in and 10 life is a lot. That's I think it was somewhere analyzed that about 7 gaining 7 life is about gaining you a turn of life. So this is substantially much more than that, and that could pull you back out of a losing scenario. So I really do like this card as a filler.
Yeah, like we always say, early game and late game, it does something.
Yeah, sweet.
Llanowar Envoy, 2 and a green. It's a 3/2 Elf Scout. It's already pretty good body. And for 1 and a green, add 1 mana of any color. So it's kind of a filter land. You tap 2 to get 1 of any color. It's a tier 3 because of the body with upside. I like it because I want my greedy colors. But yeah.
And the body's just fine. So even if you don't, you can just play it anyway.
Exactly.
Gaia's Protector for 3 and a green. So for 4 mana, we get a 4/2 Elemental Warrior, and this guy must be blocked if able. Now, why do we say right off the bat, put it aside? Because we're paying 4 mana. That's an important point in time in the game. We want something that is substantial. We want that is allowed, that gives the ability to attack through our opponent's 2-drops, and this exactly is not capable of doing that because it's only got toughness 2. So can't make it more complicated than that. Don't want to spend your 4 mana drop dealing with a 2 mana drop from your opponent.
Yeah, and they have to block it, so yeah, just throw in a 2-power thing, whatever.
Terrible.
Balor the Gorger, 2 and 2 green. It's a 4/4 beast and has kick of 4. And if it was kicked, it ends the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on it. Already it's a good body, but even then, for 8, it's a 7/7, which is so big. Tier 3, good filler.
Yeah, the beauty thing about this card is that it actually functions 2 times. It functions both early as a substantially stronger body than most creatures will have, but it also works as your bomb, actually, because the 7/7 attacking is not going to be taken care of lightly. So it's playing 2 roles, which is very versatile. Mammoth Spider for 4, and it's just fun to say, Mammoth Spider for 4 and a green. So for 5 mana, we get a 3/5 with reach. Now, we're saying right off the bat, tier 2. Because of the body, you would say it's a tier 3, fine filler, good. We've seen cards like this before with 3 power, 5 toughness. They're strong, like the White Elephant, for example. They do a lot of work. Why is this all of a sudden auto-include if you're in green? Because of the reach. The way that people are winning these pre-release games is because they've got their evasion creature, which is mostly going to be in flyers. They're small, but they keep on poking people. If you've got this Mammoth Spider on your side, you're going to be attacking with your green creatures, which are big, and the Mammoth Spider will stop them from being able to attack with any of their flyers for fear of them being destroyed. And the 3 power pretty much always means that they will be able to kill those flyers.
Yeah, I mean, they have to have a 5-powered flyer to get rid of it. And more than 3 toughness actually survive. So that's not gonna happen very fast.
No.
Or at all.
No, so this card is really, these spiders really help you in the race against creatures with evasion.
Yeah. So always play this one.
Yeah.
Primordial Worm, 4 and 2 green. It's a 7/6 worm. It's a big creature. If you don't have good bombs with evasion, this is what you're searching for. It's a big one.
It's a big bomb. Yeah.
It's a really big bomb.
Nice. Those are the commons. Let's have a look at the uncommons.
We start off the uncommons with Fungus Plots. 1 and a green enchantment, and for 1 and a green, extra target creature card from your graveyard, and you get a 1/1 green supporting creature token. But you can also sacrifice 2 supportings, and you gain 2 life, and you draw a card. I like drawing cards, but you have to pay 2 mana for this, it will cost you a card, then 2 mana to actually get a 1/1. And you have to exile a creature, which you actually have to have. So a lot of things you have to do for that one card or those bodies.
Yeah.
Just put it aside. Don't meddle with this.
Yeah, it would have been better if you could exile a creature from any graveyard, but it also has to be from yours, so stuff needs to be in there. It's going to be too much trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Gaia's Blessing is next for 1 and a green. It's a sorcery. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. Then we're going to draw a card. And if this card goes into our graveyard from the library, so if it gets milled in there, then we're going to shuffle the whole shebang, including the graveyard, back into the library. So, very niche card. As an example, such a niche card. You might want this in Commander. Some decks would love this, but in a normal, standard pre-release game, you're not going to be getting any use out of this card. So just put it aside.
Exactly. You're not going to do anything with this. Nature Spiral, 1 and a green, sorcery, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. You can get back something. It's permanent, so it will be a creature card, it will be a bomb, but we had the black one and we didn't really want to play the black one either,
and that got you 2 things.
Exactly. Yeah. So just put it aside.
Song of Prerelease for 1 and a green. It's a saga. When this saga enters the battlefield, all our creatures are going to be able to tap for a mana of any color. The turn after that, all our creatures can do that again, so it allows us to ramp those 2 turns. And then in the 3rd turn, we're going to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control, and additionally, they're all going to gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible. Okay, this is pretty cool. It does take it a while to get value out of it, but not only does the last ability give us cool abilities that allow us to attack with impunity because of the Indestructible and the Trample, it really means we can do a lot of stuff, but the +1/+1 counters stay on there as well. So it's not like it's a one hit and then we have to win. No, the +1/+1 counters stay on there, so your army stays very strong. Additionally, we also get the Vigilance, which means we can still block with those creatures next turn. And the fact that it ramps us mana because our creatures can tap for mana in the 2 turns preceding that, I think is a great advantage. I would always see if I can find a spot for this. So it's still tier 3, a filler card, because it requires you still to have creatures and stuff around there.
Exactly. So later game you draw this and it will not actually do much, because the really relevant part for a later game is the 3rd one, and that will take you 2 turns to get there.
Yeah.
Untamed Kafu, 1 and a green. It's a 2/2 Kafu and has kicker 3. And from itself, it has Vigilance and Trample. And when it was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. The body already is good. It has Vigilance, Trample, also nice. And then it gets even bigger with the kicker. It's really good. I almost want to play this.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Actually, it once again does something on turn 2 if you need it right there off the bat, but later in the game, also even better.
I think I always want to play it on turn 5 because of the Vigilance and the Trample.
Yeah.
A 5/5 is so important with these abilities.
Yeah, true. There's only but there could still be scenarios where you need to play it super early or play an additional something else. So it's nice that it has that capability.
Try not to though.
It's better. It's better if it's a 5/5.
It's so much better if it's 5. The other ones is like, I'm not really sad when it's like earlier, because these are also really great. But this one is also 5 mana. It's also not that much.
That's true.
It's also still beginning of the end game, and with a 5/5 Vigilance Trample, I think you will actually win that.
Yes. So lean towards that one. All right, Sporn Crown Thallid for 1 and a green. It's a 2/2 fungus, so right there off the bat, that's a fine filler. 2/2 for 2, I'm happy with that. And other creatures you control that are fungi or sapperlings get +1/+1. So that's a nice little fungus lord right there. And but even if we don't play any other ones, that's fine. You can still just play it as a filler.
Yeah. like we say, a good body, also with upside. Elfheim Druid, 1 and a green. It's a 0/2 Elf Druid. That's not that great. Tap to add a green. That's okay. And tap to add 2 green, but you can only spend this mana to cast kicked spells. So also not spells with kicker, only kicked spells. Llanowar Elf at least had a power. It was on turn 1, and this one turn 2, no power. I don't really like this as much. Put aside.
More like Elf Lame Druid, am I right?
Sure.
Crickets. Somebody insert the sound of crickets. Okay, thank you. Let's go on to...
It's your task to do that.
All right, Spore Swarm for 3 and a green. So for 4 mana, it's an instant. We're going to create 3 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. That's fine filler right there. I don't mind the 3 power and toughness split over 3 creatures. For 4 mana, which is actually okay. It does make it more difficult to use these on the offensive though, but it is instant speed, which means that we can use them very well on the defensive time when the people are attacking us. We can pop down the 3 power, block as we require, either the 3 big things that would kill us or multiple block to kill something else. So I like that versatility.
Exactly. Surprise fungi. Wild Onslaught. 3 and a green. It's instant. Just kick a 4 and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. If the spell was kicked, +2 and put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control instead. No. 8 mana to do 2. 4 mana to do 1 instant speed. You don't really want that. 4 mana to keep open. Just no. You have to also have creatures to use it on.
Yeah, and think about it. You probably only have, let's say, like 2 creatures, something reliably that you can do this. You're paying 4 mana for 2 +1/+1 counters. Yeah, it's too much. Too much. Grun, the Lonely King, for 4 and 2 green. So for 6 mana, we get a 5/5 legendary ape warrior. Now this thing is good. It is tier 1, and I'll tell you why. It's because if you kick it, so 6, 7, 8, so for 9 mana, that is going to come with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. So then if we pay 9 mana, it's going to be a 10/10, which is insanity. That is insanity. But let's say that we don't have the 9. We just put it down on turn 6. What happens then? It's a 5/5, which is substantial. But if it attacks alone, we double its power and toughness until the end of turn. So then we still got that 10/10. So that is craziness. We basically have a guaranteed attacking 10/10 for only 6 mana, and that nothing can stop that. You can double block, triple block all day. This thing is not going down.
Yeah, it also doubles its toughness. That's insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, imagine having the 10/10 and then attacking becoming a 20/20.
Oh my god. Then you look for anything that gives this guy trample, because then it's game over.
Yeah. Tier 1, this will win you the game.
Beautiful, beautiful ape.
Thorn Elemental.
Sentences that have not been spoken outside of Magic reviews, I'm assuming. I like the body, about an ape. Those are the words that are not usually spoken.
Let's continue.
I like this elemental body too. Really, proceed.
Thorn Elemental. 5 and 2 green. It's a 7/7 elemental. You may have Thorn Elemental assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. 7 toughness means it won't die soon anyways. You have to control a lot of things on it. But the 7 power that you can assign, even though it wasn't blocked, that's even insane, because then blocking doesn't matter anymore.
It's kind of unblockable.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it as unblockable because it's not getting killed in combat anyway.
No.
So people, they have to have pieces of removal, and red can't deal with this anyway. There's no way. So they need to have some kind of removal right there. So this is game ending. This is definitely tier 1 card.
This is definitely tier 1.
And these last 2 tier 1 bombs are in uncommon. Can you believe it? That is crazy.
Uncommon.
Beautiful. All right, let's see what the rares have in store. The first of our rares is Kamal's Druidic Vow. For X and 2 green, it's a legendary sorcery. Now we're going to look at the top X cards of our library, and then we may put any number of land and or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and we're going to put the rest into our graveyard. So yes, if we do pump tons of mana into this, we could get a couple of permanents, put them for free. That's a beautiful scenario, but the problem is, will we have this card only does something late game where we're mana flooded, and only if we also have a legendary. Sure, the chance of us having a legendary on the battlefield is greater when it's turn 9, 10, 11, around that time. But I think this card is doing so little the rest of the game, I can't really warrant putting it in. So I'd say put it aside.
Yeah.
Too risky.
Sylvan Awakening, 2 and a green. It's a sorcery. Until your next turn, all land you control become 2/2 elemental creatures with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. So it will still be lands in opponent's turn, so you can actually block with everything. And that's actually really nice because you can attack in a board stall. They think, oh, then you're leaving it open. What will happen? So they'll try to attack you back, but then you play this and you have indestructible reach lands that can with 2 power. That's actually really insane.
Yeah.
I really like this. I think I'll always play this.
Yeah.
And you will have extra attackers too on the offense.
Yeah, and it's important to remember as well that these lands are still lands, so you can still tap them for mana.
Also.
Yeah. Tier 2. I think if you're in green, just pop it in because early game it could stop you from dying to something, but late game it just turns your entire flood into an army with which you will win the game.
Killing people with lands.
Marwyn the Nurturer for 2 and a green. So for 3 mana, we get a 1/1 elf druid. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to put a +1/+1 counter on this card. And we can also tap it to give us a mana equal to its power. So in essence, it's a Llanowar elf that we're paying an additional 2 mana for. And should we be playing more elves, it does get a little bit bigger and allows us to get more mana. Once again, perfect constructed card, awesome to build in an elf deck, but by itself over here, simply not going to do enough, so just put it aside.
Yeah. Steel Leaf Champion, 3 green, it's a 5/4 elf knight, so it will be turn 5/6 when it gets there, 5/4, still at that turn, already really good. And it cannot be blocked by creature power 2 or less, and a lot of creatures will be power 2 or less, or power 2. Which means it will be really difficult to get rid of, and to have that power on like turn 4, 5, 6, it's already good. Tier 2, this will win you the games.
Yeah, because you got that board stall. Usually the board is stalled even against your 5/5 creatures because they just have so many 2/2s on the battlefield. And then this guy just really neglects that entire area of their field. Territorial Allosaurus for 2 and 2 green. We've got a 5/5 for 4 mana. Wow. That's nice. Then we also have additional kicker for 2 and a green. So if we pay 7 mana for it, it is instead going to enter the battlefield and then fight target creature. This is a tier 2 card. If you're in green, I would always include it. If I've got multiple of these cards, I'm definitely looking to play into green. Why? Because the power and toughness is off the chart. And late game, it's also going to remove something. That isn't... it's so good.
Also the reason why to try to play it, because it's a dinosaur.
Also because it's a dinosaur, true. And we didn't have Allosauruses before. In the past set. We had Allosaurus Rider before that, even. Not that that's relevant, but yes.
The Mending of Dominaria. It's 3 and 2 green. It's a saga, and you can... When it enters the battlefield, you put 2 cards of your library into a graveyard, and then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And we do that next turn 2. And return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then shuffle your graveyard into your library. The first 2 is like nice, I guess, but on turn 5, a bit too late, like a lot too late. And then getting all your lands on the battlefield in turn 3 is no, just put it aside. It's too slow for limited. It won't do enough.
Yeah, this is another example of a card that really tries to get your value out of the graveyard, but we've looked at this before, and relying on getting value only from the graveyard is simply unreliable because you just don't always have good stuff in the graveyard. You don't even always have something in the graveyard. So it's just not enough. Then the last of the rares, and that is a classic Verdant Force for 5 and 3 green. So for a whopping 8 mana, we've got a 7/7 Elemental, which is already good enough to be smacking face, as we saw already before. But additionally, at the beginning of each upkeep, we're going to be creating a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. That means in our upkeep, that means in their upkeep, and then again in our upkeep, and then again in their upkeep, which means that we can block with those Saprolings, chump block for days, and we can attack ourselves with a 7/7, and that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, but at one point they can't even attack anymore because all the opponents, it will go so fast.
Yeah.
So tier 1, this will win you so many games.
Beautiful, yeah. Definitely worth it to go see if you can get to 8 a little faster.
Like we said before, 8 mana is difficult, but this is worth it.
Totally, totally. All right, those are the rares. Let's have a look at the mythic.
Our green mythic is Multani Yavimaya Avatar. 4 and 2 green, it's a legendary elemental avatar, a 0/0 with reach and trample, but Multani Avatar gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land in your graveyard. The second class won't be as relevant in limited, but still it's something to look out for. And you can pay 1 and a green to return 2 lands you control to the owner's hand, and then you can return Multani from your graveyard to your hand. So they cannot get rid of it except for exiling it, and it will be at least a 6/6 because you'll count any land. It has reach and it has trample. Tier 1, it will win you the games. They cannot get rid of it.
No, and the beauty part of it is that even if you're behind, you're in a losing proposition, you get this card on the battlefield. Even their evasion creatures cannot get through anymore, because if this thing is a 6/6 with reach, their flyers are completely worthless against this card. And you've all of a sudden turned it from a scenario where you were losing to a scenario where they cannot attack you efficiently anymore. It allows you to stabilize, and then once you're stabilized, bam, this thing can start smacking in. And even if they multiple block it, they kill it, then you're just returning those 2 lands, getting it back, playing it again. And by that time, there's just no way that you can lose anymore.
Exactly, and it's at least 6 power and toughness.
Potential even higher.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. That is a beautiful mythic. Let's have a look at the conclusion.
In conclusion, once again, I really like green because of all the good creatures. And this time the creatures are great. I mean, we have 2 tier 1s in our common and they are really good tier 1s. And yeah, the thing is, the rest of green is a bit disappointing. But still, I think we're gonna win with the creatures, and we have those creatures.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in the removal. Usually green has a lot more good combat tricks and fight mechanics, which now, I'm not saying there's no combat tricks, there are a few, but I just don't think the quantity is there to be able to reliably say, okay, I'm going to go with green and have at least something. I don't think we can reliably say that we will have something for green, so we're going to have to look into other colors for the removal. The evasion is also not that prevalent. We haven't seen too much stuff with trample, so we just have to have big stuff that'll just pound a couple of times, kill some creature, and then get through, which I also don't like. I'd like to have a little bit more reliable trample effect. But the bombs, so anything, converted mana cost 5 or 6, these ones are absolutely insane. Almost each one of them can win the game by themselves, and that is not to be underestimated. So the way that I see green is you've got some very basic filler cards, early curve, 1/3s, 2/2s, that kind of stuff. That's all fine. You're not too unhappy playing it. But then once you're able to get to that 5, 6, 7 converted mana cost stuff, and people can't answer it, then you are winning the game, because they're really seriously that powerful, these cards this time.
Yeah, exactly. And also the kicker cards that is like cheap early and a bit expensive late. All these cards are just really good and early and great. Like, none of these cards you say, oh, maybe this one is a bit worse. No. It's all good. Yeah,
the kicker cards are always, they're good early, good late. And remember, those are the cards that win us the game, where they have both versatility.
Because normally, like, the bodies are like a bit meh still, but now not even.
No. So yeah, play green and support it with a good color with some removal and some evasion.
Yeah. Right. So the rest of the colors.
Pretty much the rest of the colors. All right. Now, I would like to remind you guys that we do have a Patreon page. So head on over to patreon.com/budgetmtgdecks. If you like what we do, if you want to help us make more videos, you want to show your appreciation, you can donate as little as $1 a month, and we really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to all our current patrons for doing that. Also join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Budget MTG Decks, where we, if you want to ask us questions, you want to comment on what we've on these videos, what do you think of the cards, how are you going to be building your deck, let us know over there. We can have a conversation, and of course, subscribe to us here on YouTube for the most powerful decks and advice everyone can afford. And if you do, don't forget to hit the little bell button, because then you get notified when a new video comes out. And the next video that's coming out is going to be all the multicolored cards, artifacts, and lands. So it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a long one, but then we're going to see all the remaining cards for Dominaria in the last video. So thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And this was Budget MTG Decks.